Hey, hey, welcome to December 2nd, everyone, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Here we are, the second day of 31 for the December Dash. That's right, the entire month I'll be live streaming right here. And I say right here, there's about, I don't know, 6 or 7 different places that we're currently live streaming to, and we're going to add a few more. But that's cool. Wherever you're tuning in from, be sure to follow Ring Ads, like the post, share the video, like the video, subscribe, notifications, all that jazz, so that you can follow every time we go live, right? Every session that we do. If you want, which I would highly recommend, if you're going to follow along, you might as well participate because we got a lot of cool prizes and awards. That there's a lot of stuff that you can win with things like, for example, just showing up. Showing up's more than half the battle easily. And we've got some proof of that already on the second day, which is pretty cool. Seems like my kick in the ass session I did a little bit yesterday there for some of you took effect, and that's good. I'm happy to see that, and probably for most of you actually, but uh, one in particular that I can think of, I'll bring him up in a minute. Anyway, let me know where you're tuning in from, city, state, country, and that way I can kind of get a feel for who we have on with us. I see we already have people piling into the room, so that's cool. Um, Man, I am. I don't know about you guys and gals, but I'm pumped. I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, then that's what these sessions are for. The first little bit, I'm gonna talk about some things that some of a little bit what we talked about yesterday, but I'm gonna expand on that today a little bit for the mindset in different areas, things that we're gonna need. New York City, very good. Um, just looking at the comments coming in here. The um, the mindset's super important. So we're going to be spending a lot of time focusing on that because it governs everything else that happens in the business. And actually, I'm going to, if Art's on today, which I think he will be, he just closed a client, and again, we'll go through the whole story, and I'll actually just not really interview, but I'll ask, um, and he can kind of put his thoughts together on this. He's probably already knows where he's at, but this is a journey. This is about progress, not perfection, which is our main topic for today on mindset, and it's again an expansion on what we covered yesterday. So if you missed that yesterday, go watch yesterday too because it was really good. A lot of good stuff covered, a lot of good questions as well, and progress, not perfection. That's the main thing. Um, Even if and Art will probably be the first to tell you this. So I'll let him tell you in his own words, but basically the concept is even if you have to stop for a while and come back to this, it still very much helps when you see the progress and not focus on the perfection, right? And so more than just progress and perfection, we're going to talk specifically. Today's special topic is actually about how if you're type A, which I am, so no judgments at all by any means, whether you're type A or not. But I can relate very well to type A's in terms of how to process this business and how to deal with things that are left undone because type A's typically don't like things that are just kind of left undone. And we're going to get into that, talk about that, how to uh, strive after progress, not perfection, as a large part of that. Wow, we have somebody from Saudi Arabia. Wow, welcome. Um, Art's still over in the Philippines. It's good to see you. Cranfield, England. Is that Julian? I think Julian's out there. Sarasota, Florida, where it's so cold we had to wear pants and shoes instead of shorts and flip flops. I know, right? It's first world problems for you guys down there. It gets so cold in the wintertime, 60 degrees and all. Um, anyway, it's almost Vegas problems, same kind of thing. It's actually been a little bit cooler here this winter so far, and it's not even really winter yet, technically till the 21st, but close enough. It's already gotten down into the mid 30s at night down here, which is that's by most people's standards. I mean, pretty close to freezing. That's cold. It's not negative 40, right? We don't have any bragging rights like the Dakotas do, right? But I don't want them. Mid 30s is enough. All right, nothing lower than that. Otherwise, I'm hurting. John's in Gloucester, UK specifically. Um, John, who is languishing in Beirut, Lebanon. Wow, Beirut. Um, Man, you guys are probably still. I know it's been a few months, but you guys got rocked pretty hard there about that explosion down there at the docks. Um, Look at me, Mr. World News and Traveler, right? Uh, Seriously though, that was was pretty bad. I saw half the city get decimated by that. Um, Shockwaves at the very least. And so I hope you and yours are doing okay over there and recovering well. That was, like I said, that was what maybe that might have been like 6 months ago now. But that's, I mean, that takes a while to recover from shit like that. That was crazy. So, best wishes to you out there, you and yours. I know a lot of people got rocked by that pretty bad. Um, Not to get all Debbie Downer on anybody, but I just saw that and I had to say something. Um, where were we at? Oh, progress, not perfection. Nothing's perfect. We're all human. Uh, and even introverts can do well in this business. And I am living proof of that. It may not seem like it at times because I do jump on live and I use my camera and it seems like I have no fear in a lot of things. And really what it is I feel the fear and do it anyway. And for some people that works, and for others it doesn't. We'll talk about different ways to handle fear and what fear is and all that. Especially when it comes to your sales conversations and market research conversations, it's going to be very helpful. So, again, it's about the progress in those areas, not the perfection. 100%. And then one day, and I say one day, as in one day soon, pretty much this month, you're going to wake up and people are going to hear you on the phone and be like, wow, who are you? You're a totally different person. And they mean that as a compliment. um, it's crazy to watch an introvert and see an introvert develop from your own training right before your eyes in person, over virtual sessions, all of that, and watch them go from someone who is shaking, terrified, physically shaking, too terrified to pick up the phone, does it anyway, and graduates to the place of they're the first one to pick up the phone, where everybody else might hesitate for a second, just that split second even. But the one who struggled the most, right, has kind of earned that right uh, to that. Anyway, super proud of you guys and keep working hard. I know there's a lot of effort and work being put in by you, and if there's not yet, double down, triple down. But for those of you that are putting in the hours, putting in the work, it will pay off, and it will pay off in dividends. And there's tons and tons of proof. Um, it's been documented time and time again. Just take what I'm giving you on the training and go for it, and you're going to see some significant results for sure. Okay, so uh, progress, not perfection. Mainly, what I wanted to talk about with that is in direct relation to the sales script and the sales conversations that you're having. Lost two panel windows. Wow. Was thrown out of my seat. Yeah, I saw some crazy videos of that. Back to the Beirut thing. Steve's in Bishop, California. Yep. All right, cool. So progress, not perfection, as it relates to the sales conversations and even market research conversations. Okay, this can stem all the way back because you have to do good market research in order to pull the information necessary to make your sales calls much more impactful, much faster, much better, more efficient. Your close rate's going to be much better out of the gate. I have seen people that have done extensive market research before they jumped on the phone to prospect, and those people that did very good market research had a lower close rate out of the gate, which is good. That means they were closing 1 in 5 instead of 1 in 7 to start with, and that can happen. That can happen if you do good market research. That can happen very easily for you, and it only gets better, right? If we're tracking it, like I taught you yesterday, and we'll teach you again today, it will get better. Okay, so when it comes to progress, not perfection, what do you have to focus on? Kind of like what I said yesterday, I'm going to expand on that. You don't focus on getting the client. That's what everybody does. That's what the amateurs do. You're not an amateur. You're pro. You're pro level. You're playing at a pro level. You're doing things that telemarketers only dream of being able to have done. And I don't mean that as a bragging point more than I do. That's all the effort that you put in is to be rewarded, right? Um, Not by me, but by you, by your own actions, by your work that you've put in. And where it really meets, where the rubber meets the road here, uh, in that process of you paying all those dues, and now you're due, right? Is in the sales conversations, in the market research as well. So those conversations are about tracking. Hey, on my market research calls, I got 3 data points off of that guy, right? And the next one, let me see if I can go for 4, right? Next time, hey, I had that guy didn't hang up on me. Next time, I want to get the next call I do. I want to make sure not only does he not hang up on me, but he uh, goes twice as long, goes 5 minutes instead of 10, or 10 minutes instead of 5. Excuse me. Um, those are the progress, not perfection, right? We're not trying to get on every call, or get on a call and think that every call that we get on is going to be the one that gives us every single piece of market research we can get, or every single call we get on is going to be a client for us. Largely, actually, in part because if you read through the script, it's not just words to say. These are things you actually need to embody, like uh, you intend on doing business with these people long term. You should be thinking that way. You shouldn't just be saying that. You should be doing business that way, thinking that way. Um, you should be looking at the questions you ask and who you're looking to actually do business with. Some of those people that you do get on the phone with are just not going to qualify. Not to be, you're not going to be, oh, I'm sorry, you don't qualify, sir or ma'am. No, you're going to be nice about it, right? You're going to let them down easy. At the same time, though, if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. You need to let somebody know. You need to speak up, so that you're not stuck with a client that doesn't appreciate you or your efforts, or doesn't even know how to use what you have that's so valuable, right? It's the same lesson that I read in that Facebook post the other day I was talking about. I think maybe I shared this on the mentorship. Was a daughter, a father and a daughter. Daughter graduates high school. He says, "Congratulations, that old car that's covered in dust in the garage. It's now yours." And she said, "Great. What do I do with this?" And he said, "Well, why don't you take it down to, because it still runs. Why don't you take it down to the car lot?" And the car lot told she came back from the car lot, and he said, "What did the car lot say?" The car lot said they would give me $1,000 for the car because it runs, but it's old, right? It's an old car. And he said, "Okay, now take it down to the pawn shop." And so she took the car down to the pawn shop, and she came back with it, and he said, "What did they say?" And she said, "The pawn shop said they would give me $300 for it, uh, because it's old and it runs, but it's, they're a pawn shop, right? They 20, 30 cents on the dollar, pretty much." Then he says, "Okay, now take it to this car club that meets twice a month, on Saturday off the strip or whatever, and let me know what they say." And she comes back from that, and he says, "What they say?" And she says, "They offered me $100,000 for the car because it's a Nissan Skyline, uh, blah blah blah, all the things that make that car extremely rare, and all that kind of stuff." Of course, I'm paraphrasing some of the story here, but the point is the target market was right, the target audience was right. Same thing goes for when you're qualifying for clients. That's not Those questions are not bullshit. If you're reading them off like verbatim, as if uh, as if that's the kind of client you want, and you really don't care about the kind of clients you get just so that you can say you have a client, you're not doing it right. And I'm talking about the long term. Initially, sure, a client coming in, delivering phone calls, great. But I mean, what happens when it comes time for them to re up? In other words, keep paying you for the phone calls. Are they going to be in it to win it? Or are they the pawn shop? Are they the car lot, right? Are they the car club owner guy who knows the value of those calls? And sometimes uh, you can take the car, and this is the analogy here. Sometimes you can take that car to the car lot and educate the car sales manager, because that's probably who would be making that deal at the end of the day. And then the car sales manager would be like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize this was a Nissan Skyline. Okay, yeah, I don't even know if we're in the market for it, but let me talk to the owner and see if we'll buy it or not." just based on the fact of how rare it is and all that kind of stuff. Same concept here in terms of value that you provide. You need to understand the value that you provide and how to have those conversations with your potential clients and existing clients and communicating that value far beyond uh, getting the client. It's great that you get a client. It's great that you get clients, but keeping the clients is just as important, if not more important, right? I mean, think about it. If you got 10 clients and I got 10 clients and I keep 80% of mine, which is not it's not an uncommon number if you follow what I teach, and you keep three of yours, right? Um, you'd have to pull in almost three times as many clients. You'd have to go and pull another 20 clients to have nine retained, whereas I would only have to pull in 10 to keep eight, which is almost nine. I mean, think about that for a second. Retention and client communication and ongoing support for your clients super super important for every client that you get. Okay, so the battle's just starting. I say battle. The relationship has just begun between you and the client, which is why you have to qualify. It's kind of all works. If you notice, it all comes from that place, right? So those aren't just lines to read, and you are working to find the right people. So anytime you find somebody that's not a fit, you should feel good about the fact that your script that I gave you executed well enough to save you a lot of hassle, a lot of bullshit. Same for the client, right? Same for them too. Like if you're not a fit, I mean, it's not a fit on their end too. It's not just a you thing. It's also a them thing. They benefit from that as well, without even knowing it really. But you do. You know it at the end of the day. Okay. So type A personalities. Someone says hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. I did say hi at the beginning, I think, right? I hope I did. Anyway, type A personalities, how to use that to your advantage. So when it comes to sales, type A's type A's aren't used to that whole. Type A's love those one call closes. They're great because it's in and out. Get the damn thing done, right? Get you set up, get some calls going, and that's all she wrote. And we get to actually not finalize it, but we get to put it in a good place in our minds, in our perfection based minds, if you will. Now, I'm a recovering perfectionist, which means I'm aware that I have perfectionist tendencies, but I also, because I'm aware of them, I also catch myself in the act and manage that uh, to what I would call a reasonable standard. Meaning, there are many things in my life, in my business, that I accept as a minimum. Now, usually my minimums are still much higher than what other people would hold me to as a standard, if they were my boss or something. Um, but I do that just not as a point of pride, but as a point of, okay, I know if I'm here, then at this level at a minimum standard every day, then I'm good. And while that's not perfect, I acknowledge that, I accept that. So I'm aware of it. I know that's the deal, and I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, I'm pushing towards a business that will far outpace, outlast, outprofit everything else out there. Uh, and that in itself is perfection. And the things that you can do with a business like that or an agency like that can really transform not just your life, but everyone else's life around you. So they all look at you with those perfection glasses. That's all they see. In fact, a lot of times that's why I have to remind people I am an introvert because a lot of people say, "Really? You've got a good voice. It almost sounds like you've got a great face for radio, right?" I've heard that joke before. You've got a great voice for something like a radio or a podcast show. Why don't you do it? Why don't you do a podcast show? And here's my thing. Like, I'm not really. That's not my thing. I'm not really into that. Uh, no judgments against the people that are. It's just not for me. And if it was, I'd be, DJ Donnie, or whatever. Um, but I'm not DJ Donnie, and that's because I don't want to be. And my point is, there are there are many things that I have worked at over the years, not just the idea of being in front of a camera. You'll notice today I'm actually looking at the camera a lot more often because I've made mental notes over and over and over again. It's not something I like to do. Actually, there's an actor in his younger days, Matthew Broderick. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Maybe I'm old as balls. I don't know. But if you know who Matthew Broderick is, he starred in a movie in his young days, called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And one of the things that the I believe it was the director, but could have been somebody else on staff there during that filming. Um, had Ferris was uncomfortable at the moments when he was supposed to look at the camera and talk to us, outside of the movie, um, like even at the end. And he had this thing where his eyes would move to the people behind the camera or like someone standing behind the camera and look back at the camera like this. And then he got it to where it was just his eyes doing it, like a newscaster almost. And then he got it took many, many, many takes on those things. In fact, if I remember right, there was a lot of frustration initially with that seemingly impossible task to get him just to look at the camera and look at the camera only as if it were a person. And so I have not implemented any of the tricks for that. Like normally, my thoughts have been going to like maybe I should just put like a little face over the camera, but then I go, whose face do I want to see all the time? I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on that one, but maybe that's why I haven't done it yet. But just cut out like a little hole and then put it's gonna look a little creepy, I think I'd much rather just resolve to look at the camera, right, and be resolute in that and do it. Um, and again, I always look off and think, but I also do look at comments and Facebook over here to the left and stuff like that. So, and then I've got my stream stuff over to the right. So there's a bunch of different places for me to look. Maybe that's also part of the problem. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on. I've got my stream deck down here, a lot of cool shit to play with, But anyway, type A's, the perfection comes in where the perfection can be the enemy of your progress. And that's why I say, as a type A, acknowledge that your perfection tendencies will and can and do often do get in the way of the name of progress, right? They hinder progress. And the name of this game is progress. So if you're seeing progress in this business model, by definition, to us type A's, that is perfection. Let me say it again. If you have progress in this model, and you know how we define progress is stuff getting done, not done to your satisfaction, right? To your level um, of demanding, right, or demands. It's progress, meaning you're not where you were when you started an hour ago. You're further along, right? Even if it's only an inch further, it's still considered progress. That, by definition, for type A's, if you're listening to this, is the perfection that we're after. That's it. If you have progress today, congratulations, you are perfect in what we're doing. And that's how you have to look at it, because shit's going to break. Uh, you're going to have, I mean, when you were growing from a child state to an adult state, physically, in physical form, you had what's called growing pains. There's no doubt about it. Everybody does. Um, Everybody experiences them differently. Like I actually, when I was growing, I remember I grew very tall, very quick, um, so much so that my legs hurt. They were growing so fast that they hurt, physically hurt. It sucked for a while, for probably a couple months over that summer. It really sucked to be me. But then I was taller all of a sudden, you know. So that was okay. But the point is, there were growing pains. You know, did I did I bitch and moan at times? Yeah, I was a child growing up, of course. Do I expect some of you out there to bitch and moan? Sure. There are places and forums for you to do it. The Facebook group that we have is not one of those, for a very good reason, as you can see. It's all positive there. If you have bitching and moaning to do about your growing pains, come to support. I'll help you out. I'll take care of you. Um, I'd much rather uh, because I understand we all have our days, we all have our moments, especially if we're growing a business, we're going to have those growing pains, period. And see, this is stuff that you're not going to hear this probably, if at all, from any kind of other mentor to tell you, hey, it's okay to, I'm not saying it's going to be okay to bitch and moan every day or something. I'm just saying it's okay. Like when you have days where it feels like you're going two steps forward, three back, it's okay. It's okay to bitch and moan at times, right? As long as you don't stay in that mode. That's the whole point. And catch yourself doing it. That's the most important point, probably, that I could impart to you as wisdom is in this model. Bitching and moaning won't get you anywhere. The good news is you solve the problems and you do so consistently. That's your progress. Progress equals the perfection that you're looking for, and you will get to where you want to be. And I'll tell you right now, at every level, there's going to be shit that breaks. Every level. And there's going to be people that underperform or overperform in some areas, which you're going to have to compensate for in other areas. If somebody's overperforming here, well, then that means everybody else is kind of underperforming to the level that that person is overperforming. Makes sense, right? So there's things that you're going to have to not necessarily juggle, but learn to deal with and accept that the progress is the perfection. The progress is the perfection. You can tweet that out if you'd like. The progress is the perfection. See, everybody says progress, not perfection, right? Progress, not perfection. Doesn't mean the same thing. Progress is the perfection. That's what it is, right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Anyway, I don't know if that audio came through on that or not. I hope it did. It is what it is, and that's my point. The progress is the perfection. You hear most everybody else, including a ton of well-known gurus and mindset guys, talk about progress, not perfection. You even see it on quote cards and Facebook posts and Instagram and all kinds of shit. I don't believe in that, right? Because that implies that progress is not good enough or as good as perfection. When you say progress, not perfection, not judging whoever said that, because we've all heard that, right? We've all heard a lot of things like that that limit our beliefs actually without even realizing that's a limiting belief. It actually very much is. If progress is not perfection, based on what all those quote cards out there and all those gurus tell us, right? If progress is not equal to perfection, that's basically what that says if you break it down, then that means that progress is not as good as perfection. By definition, when you say progress, not perfection, or think it, because we've heard it so many times, right? It's almost like we had that thought, or that we've latched onto it. I challenge you to shift your thinking into progress is the perfection. Progress is the perfection. It's the only perfection we have is progress. Did you make progress today? Did you put something on the fucking line? Did you move the ball an inch? You did? Progress. Are there going to be days where you move it an inch? Yes. Are there going to be days where you move the ball a mile? Yeah, there are. There's going to be a lot of great days, but you can't judge it based on the distance, just that it moved forward. That's it. It's a yes or no question. Did it move forward? Did the ball move forward? Yes. Great. Progress not perfection. No, progress is perfection. That's progress, right? What's that what's that newer gangster movie with Sean Penn playing Mickey Cohen, uh, Josh Brolin playing the cop, Sergeant whatever his name was. What was that movie? Man, I'm having issues here. I don't know why I'm not able to think of that. It's not LA Confidential. It's newer. It's the one with Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Sean Penn, Josh Brolin, Michael Pena. Uh, what was the name of that movie? Anyway, whatever the name of that movie was, now I got to go find it. Shit, that's going to bother the shit out of me. Mobster Squad? Gangster Squad, wasn't it? Gangster Squad. Can't believe I remembered that. So, Gangster Squad. One of my favorite impressions of Mickey Cohen was Sean Penn talking about, "I'm progress. See, I'm progress." the way he said that. Just every time I think of progress is perfection, I always think of Mickey Cohen saying it. Progress is perfection. I'm progress, see? I don't know why that gets to me, but that's the point. Progress is the perfection. 100%. Don't don't limit yourself by saying progress not perfection, because that implies that well, I already went through all that, so you know the deal. Someone says, no, that's not what it means. Progress and not trying to be perfect is progress, because when you try to be perfect, you do nothing. Not necessarily. I strive for perfection with every stroke. Every stroke, every time I type something out, I want it to be the best. Is it always going to be the best? No. But the fact that there are words on paper, or live streams being done, or um, contests being created or revamped and improved, that to me is the progress, right? That's the progress. And by definition, in my definition, that progress is the perfection, right? I find the perfection in that progress. So it's a little bit different of a mindset. Um, and for those of you who are getting defensive, don't get defensive. It's okay. I'm not attacking you. I'm challenging you with a new way of thinking, right? Think of me as a friend trying to clue you in on something that you should know that nobody else is going to fucking tell you, not accurately anyway, not accurately. And when it comes to this business model, again, it's never been more important to, as a type A, right? Now, if you're not type A, it's a different story. It's actually a lot easier for you to latch on to pretty much everything I'm saying. You're probably nodding your head the whole time. If you're type A, you're trying to find a way to make it your own. And I'm telling you right now, progress is perfection, 100%. Spend some time, think on it, sleep on it. I promise you're going to come out the other end going, damn, that kid knows something. How did he know that? Where did he get that from? I got that from up here, right? Studying, learning, and from up here. Nobody told me that. Nobody taught me that. I was taught the same shit you guys were. Progress, not perfection, right? Oh, don't try to be perfect, because perfection is unattainable. Tin Cup, Kevin Costner. Perfection is unattainable. I know my movies, don't I? Besides the fact that I'm a movie buff, I pay attention to shit like that on a much deeper level than most people would probably think. Um, Perfection is unattainable. To me, that means okay, so I'm supposed to accept the beauty, and again, keep in mind, type A here. So I'm analyzing, going, okay, so that means I'm supposed to accept the fact that nothing I do will ever be perfect, and I'm supposed to enjoy the activity. Well, how do I enjoy the activity as a perfectionist? How would I enjoy the activity? And I said to myself, I said, self, what would you enjoy about the activities that you're doing if perfection is seemingly unattainable, right? And I said, wait a minute, part of that phrase is wrong. It has to be, because to me, if I were able to see progress every day, I know I'm going to get to where I want to be. Perfection. It may not be exactly when I want it, right? But it will happen. And as long as it will happen, I don't give a damn if it takes 2 years, 5 years. It will get there. It will happen. I'm good with that. I'm at peace with that. And I think type A's have I know this from personal experience. I think us type A's, we have the propensity to um, sometimes even just the need to want to beat ourselves up, to uh, not just for the sake of getting everything right, but because we couldn't get it right, or just weird shit like that gets in our way. That we just get in our own way, and we get in our way to get in our way because we got in our way, kind of a getting away kind of thing. It's really, really weird sometimes if you get, that's how we just get clusterfucked, is what I call it, where you can't even move, you're paralyzed, because it's like, well, doesn't matter what I do, or if I go this way, yeah, it's progress, but it's not going to be what I want, blah blah blah. There's a whole thing that goes behind that. I'm telling you, progress is perfection. You're going to see results with that. Spend some time, stew on it, and don't take my word for it. See how it feels. Try it on, right? Try it on, see how it feels, and and what it can do for you. Okay. Let's see. One thing we can say for sure is no progress is certainly imperfection. Um, yeah, 100%. Which implies, I mean, if we say that no progress is imperfection, which I would agree with that, um, then progress is perfection. That's the You just mentioned the antithesis, right? If we can agree on that, then I'm sure we can agree on the other side. Should be able to. Um, Agreed. Progress, not perfection. It's not progress, not perfection. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. Hear me out on this. Progress is perfection. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You're not just going to hear from me. I bet you're going to hear from Art. Speaking of which, let me grab the link here. I'm going to post that into the Facebook comments here for the live stream. Let me just refresh here, make sure I'm in the right spot. So if you're not in the Facebook group, go to facebook.com @ringadsofficial. Look for the group called Ring Ads Paper Call, and that is the main group. It's free to join. We do our live streams in there as well, and it's also where we do things like share the Zoom link for coming on live and asking questions. Okay, which I just posted that link into the chat, so you can feel free to come into the Zoom, and I'll gear up for that. If you have questions, feel free to ask away in the comments. If you have questions, feel free to come into the Zoom. Someone says I'm still missing the point. I'll get there in a minute. Is that Andy arguing with me? Andy, don't argue with me. Please don't. Just don't. Take what I'm giving you. I'm telling you right now, listen to me. Listen to me. Okay? I'm telling you. You're probably tired. I understand. Sleep on it. I promise you're going to do a hell of a lot better with that than not. If you have questions, feel free to come into the Zoom. The Zoom link is posted at the top of the comments, somewhere in the comments, top of the comments, I hope. Look for it. You'll find it. And come in and ask your questions if you have questions. Art, I'd love to hear from you. I'm sure everybody else would too. You just pulled in the first client of the entire December Dash, which is pretty cool. It's good news. So come in, share the details about that. I've got a couple questions to ask you about that so that everybody else can kind of understand your journey more, what you went through and all that. Let's see, Christina. I don't know if Christina's on or not. Let's do some roll call. What do you say? Let's do some roll call. We'll do that right now. So what I want you to do in order to do roll call, I want you to go to the Ring Ads page. The Ring Ads page. Okay, not the group, but the page. And I want you to find today's live stream. Today's live stream, the one we're on right now. I want you to go to the Ring Ads page, find today's live stream. Okay, and I want you to click the share button. And I'm going to see who that is. And I'm only missing a few emails from people from yesterday, so that shouldn't take too long. So for taking attendance for today, you're gonna, if you want to get counted, then you're gonna go to the Ring Ads page and share today's live stream. Okay, share today's live stream from the page. That's gonna get you in, and then I'll go over the email address stuff with people individually here. We've got time for that. I'm not worried about it. We got another 30 days. Well, 29 after today. So here's Art. Let me let him in to the Zoom. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go to...
Here are 3 online communities that you can use to promote.
Had a queued up YouTube video. Gotta love Mick Meaney. He's a traffic guy. For those who are wanting to know who that was, Facebook. So I'm pulled up Facebook. Let me go there real quick and show you what I'm talking about. So if you go down here, actually, excuse me, you go home and you hit Ring Ads as the page. You can find it. It's also at Ring Ads Official, but it's the page. So you got to look for the page. Scroll down. You're going to see where we're currently live. You'll see it right here. And you hit the share. I see some of you have already figured that out. Christina has figured that out, and 2 more people have figured that out as well. So that's good. So we've got some people sharing. I'll just refresh my page here so I can see that and know what's going on. But yeah, I can see that. So I'll roll call on this at the end of the session, right after the session ends, for the sake of time to save us time so that we can all talk to Art and ask questions. Christina, if you've got questions, you should have some market research done or progress in that area. If you have questions or need some additional guidance, come on live, ask your questions. Same thing, open door policy for everybody. It's not just the Christina and Art show. Anybody that wants to come on, ask your questions, ask away. I have no problems with that. I will be more than happy to help you out. Okay. All righty. Art. Hello, Art.
Hello, sir.
Hey, sir. Goodness. So tell me, well, first, can you, in just like a few sentences, kind of tell people, just like as a recap, the storm came, you had some downtime, you got busy with the other business, shit like that. Like, can you kind of recap that for everybody?
Oh yeah, so yes, I do run another business here with my fiance. We're in the content space. We have a little team going,
Yeah.
and then beginning of November, um, basically like all of November, we had multiple typhoons, um, like which like a hurricane in the states, with just different body of water. But hmm? Yeah, I'm talking to William. um, so um, yeah, so the typhoons knocked out the power. Luckily, we're high enough, so we just had a couple like leaks in the house. But I mean, some people, many people, just lost everything.
Right.
And
And so you had a few clients before then had some problems with the campaign based on just a misalignment on the training and what you, because we didn't spend a lot of time during those couple of months actually at all
yeah,
talking and course correcting. So shit happens. I get it. Right. And now you're back at it as of what, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago at the most.
uh, yeah, I'd say so. That's about right.
Okay. We got your campaign squared away. You start driving phone calls now and it's getting better. And next thing you know, you're geared up to pull in another client today, and you did so, and you're the first one of the contest, the entire contest, by the way. So congratulations, first off. Um,
Oh, thank you.
I saw your call recording. I haven't listened to it yet, um,
Mhm.
but I've got you on the tracking sheet. I am taking care of that right now. I've got you. Where's the tracking sheet at? There it is. I've got you right here, Art Chapman.
Perfect.
And you've got verified revenue 300 so far, and total points, which by the way, your screenshot, don't use the payment screen from Stripe where it's just that little bitty line. Use a bigger screenshot of like the customer info. Even though there's going to be more to blur out, it gives me more of a full screen picture of what actually transpired, because that payment screen is
Okay.
awful tricky like that. It's
Yeah.
not very photogenic, that little bitty
Then
line.
what? Let me see here. Do you mind if I just share my screen then? Just because
Sure.
I was trying to figure out what to grab, honestly.
Sure. No, it's totally okay. Share your
Let's
screen.
see here.
Yeah,
Just
you should be able to.
sharing. Okay. Wow, everything. Let's see. Okay, sharing my screen here.
Yep.
Oh,
Why is that full screen again? That's crazy. There we go.
okay, so like this is the current customer.
Yeah,
Like I was thinking about doing.
that screen right there. Except scroll up and then, so like what you would do, see the payments already blurred out and shit. That little transaction in the upper right, I'd probably blur.
Okay,
Um,
that ID.
right, and then anything like
That.
that whole bottom row that says payment method, I would take all of that and except for the first name, blur
'cause
all
that's
that.
his name.
Right, but I would just blur out everything except for that first name and that whole bottom row there, that payment method on
Okay.
down. So really just a
So I just
screenshot like this, and then it's very clear what happened, right? The payment was authorized, it was captured, all that. Like Stripe really shows you every detail of the entire process of the payment going through. It's pretty cool,
right.
actually.
Oh yeah. Okay. So as an example, then, so just for next, because I'm should be getting some more down the road. So like,
I'd
okay,
scroll up and go from the top, right there where your mouse is at, in the corner of where it says
okay.
payment. No,
Oh,
over to the
I
right a
see
little
what you're
bit.
saying. Hold on. Let me repaste it in the screenshot here. Clarity wrote on it, but okay. So okay. So crop it first.
Crop it a little bit down. That's
Okay.
fine. From there is fine. The search bar is fine. But somewhere below the search bar to like basically down to
Okay.
payment details, and then you've got to get the first name or that piece
Oh
right
yeah.
there. Right, and then just blur out the last name and the transaction ID, and you're golden, which is like two blur spots, I think,
Yeah. Okay.
because it doesn't even
And
show
then
the upper right stuff. Yeah, because everything else is
yeah. So
blurred.
blur out the name. So yeah. Okay. Blur out this.
And then
Gotcha.
statement descriptor, if you want to blur that out, you could blur that out too. It's kind of already there, but just throwing that
Yeah.
out there. So yeah,
Okay.
that's it, and
Perfect.
that gives me a much bigger like, because when you post a photo, it's easier to read. It's easier to show people. Okay, like he's using, like most people don't know where you grab that one screenshot from, which is the send that over to me or post that in the Facebook group in the comments of that post
Yeah. Well.
that you made. That way people can see. Like I said, it's not a payments line, right? It's an actual like the payment screen from that client, and it's much more like anytime somebody gets a screen like that. By the way, in Stripe, when you get a screen like that, you're going to be able to see where that person was physically, what device they were on, what time of day it was when they made the payment, everything like start to
Right.
finish, which is
Oh yeah.
pretty helpful. So anyway, I've got you down. If you'll look at your screen on Facebook, I've got you down here for some reason, my caps lock went batshit on me, but I will fix that now.
Okay. I'm looking at Facebook's too. I'm not seeing
Yeah,
it.
it takes about 10, 15, 20-second delay there. You'll
Okay.
see revenue, total verified revenue is $300. Total points earned is 100 because you sent me a call recording, 20 points total for verified client and posting in Facebook, and then 50 for the call, and then $300. That's 30 points. 30 plus 70 is 100. So you currently have 100 points for the contest. Okay.
Perfect.
There we
That's
go.
exciting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think so too. I was pretty excited when I saw it. I was like, wow, okay. He kind of took my get your ass moving speech to heart, and knew I wasn't, beating you up or nothing. I want to see you folks move. I want to see you move because you can and you should, and you did.
Hmm.
So happy to see that. Happy to see that. And let me ask you this. This is for everybody else listening. Do you resonate at all with what I'm saying about type A's and uh, the progress is the perfection? Does that make any sense to you, or do you kind of, is that kind of your new mantra now, or like what are your thoughts on that?
I would agree. Especially, I've definitely, and I still continue to overthink things. But it's like, no, good enough is what I need right now.
Right now, exactly. Because I'll tell you right now, you have enough days that are good enough in this business. And
Hmm.
keep in mind, good enough by my standards, like what I'm teaching you to do. See, it'd be different if it was a good enough day and you didn't have any kind of guidance or direction. Keep in mind, when you do a good enough day every day with what I teach you, that's
Hmm.
really good. And that shit adds up. And next thing you know, you're where you wanted to be anyway, which is the perfection, right? So
Hmm.
happy to hear that. And it is something to really mull over, kick around, think about, sleep on, whatever you got to do, all the above. Um, it's not something that comes overnight, that kind of thinking, and it's a learned habit. It's not a again, it's against conventional wisdom, but then again, conventional wisdom is for me too conventional, right? I don't think like that. So, and I'm not saying you have to think like I do, but you at the very least should understand how I think and how I process if you're trying to perform like I do, if that makes sense, right?
Right.
I mean, if you want to know how I run the 400 meters so damn fast, you probably want to start at least as a base with how I run. Like I mean, you ain't got to carbon copy it, but you need to at least have it down before you start figuring out how you want to run, right?
Hmm.
And that's kind of my point there, right? So happy to see the results. I know you're happy as well. What's your plans for today and tomorrow, the rest of the week even?
Um, get back on the phone. I made some calls earlier today and
Good.
got a couple callbacks.
What's your close rate right
So
now?
um, that's something I need to figure out. That's where I've
Ruh-roh.
another area that I'm slacking is I'm not documenting it in Excel.
Now we had that
So
problem when you first started,
yeah,
right? I remember very well. You first started and you weren't tracking, and you said, "What the hell am I doing wrong?" I said, "Beats the fuck out of me, dude. I don't have call recordings.
right,
You don't have numbers to show me." Remember, I told you I was like, "I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you straight out. Like you're asking me what the problem is, and I'm blind. You're asking a
yeah,
blind man, bro. Like you got to give me something." And then you came back the next week, though. The very next week. This is what I love about you. You took that to heart and knew I wasn't beating you up. You came back the next week. You had the numbers, and I said, "Okay, this, and this." 2 days later, oh, I got two clients. Oh, I got another client. And like you went three clients in, just like that, within a couple of days of that, and but mostly because you were tracking. So here's the thing, and this is what I want you to really pay attention to. This is for specifically for you, Art, but other people listening can take note on this as well. Whatever you initially uh, struggle with is something that you can easily fall back into. Does that make sense?
hmm,
So if you're not a tracking kind of guy or gal out there, and you start tracking and you start having problems all of a sudden, I can almost guarantee you that your biggest problem is going to be that you stop doing shit that worked that I teach.
hmm,
And as long as you know that and accept that, and again, this is more of the progress is perfection mindset, you're going to be able to find systems and processes to cover your own ass because you are human, dude. I'm not saying you have to fall in love with tracking. I'm saying you're probably gonna, knowing you and knowing your personality type, you will become addicted to it after you build the habit, right? Because it
hmm,
is addictive for us, for type A's. It's that's the good news for you. The bad news is you got to get in the habit of it. And if you ever fall out of habit of it, you're going to beat your head against the wall trying to figure out what the hell's going on because you'll have forgotten. See, that's the thing. Like you'll go 6 months and be fine, and then all of a sudden shit's going wrong, and you've got staff now, and you can't really afford that, right? In terms of just you got shit
right,
to do. Okay, so what's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? You're beating your head against the wall because you'd forgotten about the tracking or the systems and processes you had built up to that point had not completely governed and covered your gaps. That's what I call your gaps. Like I'll give you an example. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I fuck up. If I fuck up, I want to make sure the guy next to me and the guy in my employ beneath me is able to catch what I don't. Right? If something gets missed, I'm like, oh, you're gonna want to throw your hand out there, so that way next time it does get caught. Does that make sense? And
hmm,
then I want a guy below him doing the same thing, so that there's layers of redundancy and protection if you think about it for the systems and processes because we humans we're not perfect, but we can design perfect systems, right? They're perfect
hmm.
until they're not perfect, and then we make them perfect again. That's basically what we do over and over. Excuse me, over and over and over and over again, right? But as a business owner, not as a one man agency. A one man agency, you're going to have to just accept the fact, at least for now, that the progress is the perfection. You're on your way to what I just described, right?
Hmm.
So
Real quick,
shoot,
actually, my fiance wanted to say a couple words to you, if that's cool.
sure,
So let me just pass the headset over.
okay,
Hi, William.
hello,
I'm Julie. I'm a fan of what you do.
okay,
But this is just like because 3 days. ago, just before the December challenge started,
Yeah.
Art is actually like running away from home. He is ready to give us up because of
Oh,
this challenge. It's crazy. But uh, honestly, I'm really a fan, and hopefully, I'll try ring ads also soon.
that sounds like
Okay,
fun. That sounds like fun.
yeah. Here's Art.
Okay.
I told him that he should really ace this challenge because
He's got
he's
the
almost
potential.
ready to give up everything.
I tell you, he's got the potential. He's definitely in the right place. He's got the right stuff moving. He's doing well. He's doing well.
Oh, yes, and especially with your guidance, it will be perfect.
Well, it's great to talk to you. This is the first time we've ever
Okay,
talked.
here's Art.
Yep.
There we go.
Hey, Art.
So yeah,
That's the first time we've
another
ever
quick.
talked. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean
said
she's
another
heard
quick
us
question.
talk, but yeah. So now regarding the 5 customers, 10 customers, so on and so forth.
Right.
Uh, does that include the 3 previous that I have before the challenge started? It's now a total of 4, or is it just no? I have 1 client as far as December Dash.
December Dash, the clients only qualify if the money was collected and the phone conversation happened between December 1st Pacific Standard Time, midnight, right? 12:01
Mm-hmm.
a.m. to
Right. Okay.
December 31st. Anything before that or after that is no good for this
Okay.
contest. It's a good
For the
thing,
contest.
but not for the contest. Okay.
Okay. Now, if the current customers I had before, if they re-up
Nope.
during the challenge, that doesn't count either. Okay, they're just totally
Revenue
not part of it.
revenue doesn't count, nothing counts. They're not part of the contest. Nope.
Okay.
New business
Okay.
only, baby. New business only.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you were on a trading desk, I don't care what you did for me last week. What have you done for me lately? And it's not for me.
Right.
Remember, at the end of the day, it's actually for you. So I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
that to keep you not honest, but that's an expression. Keeps you honest. The idea is you're not dishonest. It keeps you hungry, keeps you humble, right?
Right.
And that's where all of us should be. And that's kind of my point. I'm trying to lead you that way, so that way it's like you don't cut corners on yourself, you don't shortchange yourself. Here's where your mind should be going, Art. And this is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be on what you've already done, right? It should be
Mm-hmm.
on what you're doing today. Not
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, not next week, not for the week, today. That's it. That is it. Again, progress is the perfection. You're looking for what you can do today, not tomorrow,
Right.
not next week, not what you did do, because what you did do don't pay the bills. And actually, re-ups from clients and ongoing, yes, it does. I'm just saying, from a day-to-day perspective in this business, what have you done for yourself lately? That's the best way I can. It's the best way I can word that for you. And if you think like that, you're going to keep yourself very humble and very hungry. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly where you need to be throughout your entire process of building this agency, even all the way up to the highest levels of the business owner, just being the business owner. You definitely want your entire staff to have that same culture. As you hire and train people and you're in that mindset, they're going to be in that mindset. Much like type A's attract type A's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, same concept for when you're hiring. You're going to attract like-minded individuals, and your mind needs to be in the right place in order to attract the right people, if that makes sense. A lot of people are like,
Mm-hmm.
"Man, why does that guy suck? He works for me. I pay him to work for me, and why does he suck so bad?" It's probably something he's got in common with you. I mean, not to point fingers, but if you're going to start pointing fingers at your employee saying he sucks, then you should probably take a look in the mirror because you're the one that fucking hired him, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what people are really questioning. They're too afraid to confront themselves and see what's in the mirror, right? And either work on it or work around it or work with it. Rather, I'd rather work with something than work on something more times than not. There are things to work on in life, sure, absolutely. Uh, but then there are things to work with too, right? And use and leverage. And over time, you'll find those things, right? And that's every type A, but and really every agency owner that's listening. So take that for what it's worth. It is super helpful. I will tell you, when you start thinking, not forward thinking, but definitely not thinking about what you have, thinking about what you did today. Like, I'll tell you right now, Art, we have 30 days, including today, left, right? What if all you did was every day focus on today? Where would you be at the end of the month?
Uh, definitely, I don't know, just massive change from the beginning. That's for sure.
Well,
I mean,
see, you can't quantify it, but I can. Why is that? I know exactly how many clients you'd have. How come you don't? And
oh, that's assuming I can close.
of course it's
Okay.
assumptions. Of course it's speculating. But my
Yeah.
point is, if all you did today was what you did yesterday,
Oh, yeah. Oh, if that's the case, then I mean, I've got well on like at that point, I'm after the challenge is done, I'm ready to hire some staff, and I mean,
well,
at that point, 30
by my count, it'd
30
be
to
30
50
plus.
clients.
Right, it'd be 30 plus clients. Because
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you
Yeah.
right now,
So
there's going to be some days where you have 2 and 3 clients. So
I'm hoping today is one of them. I have a good callback that
not hoping,
he just needs to move.
not hoping,
Huh?
not hoping.
Okay.
You got to change it. Listen to me, Art. Listen to me very carefully. Right? You do. You know what? I'm gonna make your wife like hold a sign up every time you and I talk, because every time you and I talk and you listen to me, and I don't mean just
Hmm.
listen, but you actually hear me, you do very, very well. And I couldn't be happier, right? And yesterday's work or today's work and the last few days, last couple of weeks even, have been proof of that, okay? And you've shown me that you can do that, and not only can you do it, but you can do it extremely well. So listen to me very carefully is my point. Right here, right now, your language is everything, brother. Language is everything. 100%. That's why we talk about mindset. Really, what I'm talking about is your self-talk, your language. And when I say watch your language, coming from a guy who
Hmm.
curses all the time, uh, to hear me say watch your language is, but I mean it differently, right? When you say
Right.
words like hope, I think, maybe, try, right? Can't. That's the absolute worst. But you already know that one. The others though, like hope, right? Don't hope. Focus. Like I said, today is all that we have. Art, today is all we have,
Hmm.
right? Don't go home empty-handed. And by empty-handed, I don't mean don't come back without a client. That's not what I said.
Right.
Leave it all out on the field is what I said, right? That's what I'm saying. Leave it all out on the field. Because when you do that every day, as if tomorrow doesn't even exist, because it doesn't yet, by definition, it does not exist yet. It's not
Right.
guaranteed. Hard for us to think like that because we wake up every day and there we are in the next day. So it's kind of like a foregone conclusion that we're just going to have another fucking day and another day and another day, right?
Hmm.
We don't know that. I'm not trying to get doom and gloom or anything or morbid, right? But we honestly don't know that. But I know this: if you are going out or going down, do you want to go out swinging or do you want to go out on your knees, right?
Right.
And I know you, type A's, I know very well. We can't stand the thought of going out the other way, going out the bad way. We want to go out swinging, go down swinging. So you focus on that. No words like hope. Trash that word. Hope. I hope you get rid of the word hope. See what I'm saying? Word
Yeah.
sucks. That word's horrible. Faith. That's a better word. Even if you're not religious. I talked to you about this the other day, right? As somebody the other day. Don't say hope, say faith instead. Talk about your faith. Talk about your focus. Focus on what is it you have to focus on today to make that happen. That's where your head should be. And it sounds like it's the same thing, but it's not, Art. It really isn't.
It's not.
It's not. And you're going to feel it. In fact, you probably already should feel it when you say words like faith. I have faith that I'm going to close 2 today. So much stronger. So much stronger than I hope I get those 2 today, you know. Hope is for people that
Mhm.
buy fucking lottery tickets, bro. Not you.
True.
Not anybody else listening to this call. You guys aren't. Don't buy into that shit. I'm not saying hope is for the weak minded either. I'm just saying hope's not for us. We're entrepreneurs, we're business people. We make the hope happen.
Yeah, hope is for someone that's not in control of it.
There you go. 100%. And we are in control, right? So if we're in control of what we're doing, because that's all we can control, by the way,
Mhm.
then where does our focus need to be? Not on what we hope happens, but on what we know we can work on and do and influence.
Right.
That's it. And I know for a fact, based on this conversation, your today is going to go much better than you had hoped it would. Okay. I'm serious though. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and be mindful of the language. I'll help you with that as we go, but as we go along. But yeah, it's I understand it can be difficult, right?
Mhm.
But that's why I'm here, right? There's moments of difficulty. There's moments of triumph, though. Look at you, man. You're first on the board. Kudos to you, right? I mean,
Yeah, kudos for sure. That's awesome. And it was
kings to you, right? Kings to you.
yeah. I did update the post, by the way. Instead of actually, I think you
Okay,
did tell me to add a comment, but I just edited the original, removed the picture, added the new one.
that works just fine as well. Yeah,
Okay.
that works just fine. Thank you for doing that. And hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. Today's going to be a good day.
Yeah,
Today's going
ready
to
to
be a good
crush
day.
it.
So I'll let
I
you go
plan
on
to.
that. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I do plan. So Monday, my I know this is every day. I will be on the calls every day,
Yeah.
but as for calling, like, so I plan. I will be doing that Monday through Friday, actually dialing, and then the weekend I plan to. I that for me will be more of just the campaigns. I want to get the email set up.
So campaign
Start
systems and
getting.
processes for everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
Good.
Yeah,
That's how. Okay. No, no. I
that's
have no issues with that. I think that's a smart
yeah.
play. Yeah. Not that you couldn't reach people on the weekends. I mean, I'll tell you this: if you get things dialed in as the month goes along here, right?
Uh
Um,
huh.
your systems and processes should be developed enough towards middle of the month, maybe towards the end of the month, that you might be able to squeeze out a weekend. In
Okay.
fact, I'm thinking what you should do if I were you, I would do something like take this weekend, work hard on the systems and processes and campaign setup and get things dialed in to where you're just able to do it very quickly and easily, and
Hmm.
maybe even have training on it for at least the setup parts so that you don't have to, because every half hour you can buy yourself on the phone or doing things like emailing for
Hmm.
potential clients is going to be super valuable to you. And the last weekend before Christmas is the 18th is a Friday, so it's like 19th, 20th. I would take that entire weekend and just blitz right through like it didn't even exist as a weekend. the eighth,
Yeah. Good point.
yeah, 18th, 19th, 20th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then next thing you know, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and then I think Thursday's the 24th, right, which is Christmas Eve, which you can still do some deals. But my point is, yeah, it's Thursday. You're gonna have things so flooded at that point that it will carry you through numbers wise what Christmas Day is off, and the last half of Christmas Eve, of course. Take those to celebrate. But then you're into the weekend again. See what I'm saying? And then you could take that. You could take the next 4 days off. So you work through that weekend prior. Take those 4 days off. I say three and a half. You still work on the 24th. You can do calls up to like noon. And then
Mhm.
the evening, Christmas Eve, which for you would, since you're in the Philippines, your head time wise, it'd be Christmas Day for you. The rest of Christmas Day you can take Saturday off and you can take Sunday off, and then you're back on the phones Monday U.S. time, 28th, and that gives you 28, 29, 30, 31. Just all out 4 day blitz, man. Blitz, 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 blitz. A lot of follow ups, a lot of emailing, a lot of everything, a lot of ringless voicemail, a lot of everything. But that's what I would do if I was you. And if anybody else is listening, now you know the game plan, right? It's
Sure.
it's it's pedal to the metal all the way till you hit last half of Christmas Eve during the day because people are, checking out to go hang with the family. And then Christmas Day runs right into the weekend. Probably wouldn't call Monday. I'm back on it because everybody else will be. Everybody else will be. And there's only 4 days left in the month for the contest. So of course, work your way all the way up. And the 31st is a great day. I'll tell you right now. If there's a day that should be your best day, or your best days will either be December 24th or December 31st. Not that your other days won't be in the running, right? Especially as you build up the pipeline. But historically, the 24th and the 31st are great days for the few who actually call. For the few who actually call. Think about that. Not very many people think to do that. And if they do think to do it, they don't believe enough that people are and Art, I'll tell you right now, this year more than ever, has there ever been a time ever that you can remember? How old are you, Art?
34, turning
Okay.
34.
So you're younger than me. There's not been a time that I can think of that you could probably think of since we have both been alive. Maybe even some of the times our parents talked about where Christmas has been so damn bad in terms of the outlook, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking economics here specifically. Yes, we've had recessions. Yes, we've had some real bad shit, and some people had some real bad Christmases. And I don't mean just holidays. I mean people getting booted and all kinds of shit. Let me tell you something. The moratorium is up right now as of the first of the year. Do you know how many people are going to be out on the street?
Mm.
Do you want to take a wild guess? I
Too
don't.
many.
I don't. I don't even want to think about it. It's that heartbreaking. So my point is this: like we now more than ever this year, more than ever before in our entire history of living and breathing and waking up all them days, it's never been this big of an opportunity for people on the other end of the phone. In fact, if anything, it's like they're waiting on your call so that they can have a Merry Christmas. You might have some, and I'm not a huge crier. I do cry. Uh, I'm not big on it though. I'll tell you that. I guess that's the dude in me. But there are things that catch me off guard. When somebody breaks down crying on me and says that this is exactly what they needed and this is going to carry them into the new year. You're going to have conversations like that. There's not a doubt in my mind, especially something like this with things going on like that it is this year. There's not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind. I've gotten it on regular Christmases. You kidding me? This is going to be by far the best year and best month in terms of client acquisition if you're in it to win it, 100%. And I know we're going over on time, but anyway, anything else? Any last words? Any words of wisdom?
The last thing that when it happened yesterday. I just chuckled, but someone took my Skype number because I'm using Skype as well for the callback,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know I clearly they're not interested, but they registered my number to some like suicide hotline. Now I'm getting like messages that your counselor's available. Like if you need help, just give us a call. I'm like just laughing, like whatever. I'm glad. That's sad that you had to go out of your way to hurt me. Whatever. How dare they call me? Let me like whatever. Moving on. But I just left. But
in
someone
hard
would go out of their way to
times.
sign me up for that.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was telling Christina the other day. In hard times, right? Especially people that are hurting tend to be like wounded animals and backed into a corner. They'll lash out at you,
Mhm.
not under normal circumstances not be the kind of person to lash out at you. Those people will do that because of circumstance. It's not a good excuse. It doesn't justify what they're doing. At the same time, though, if we have half a heart, which I know you do, because you wouldn't be helping people with the monsoon, right? Or the
Mhm.
monsoons. Uh, then you as well as I know that very well, in fact, that we should be not necessarily turn the other cheek, but definitely reach a hand out to help. Definitely reach a hand out to help.
Hmm.
Say like, that's how I always do it. Like I don't turn the other cheek. I also don't hit back first either. Right? That's not my first. That's not my initial reaction. My initial reaction is, man, that's not okay. Are you okay though? Right? Like
Right.
what's up? And that's me reaching the hand out, saying, hey, don't hit me again. Are you okay? Here's my hand. Now if the activity persists, of course I'm going to become very unhappy at some point, and probably not even the second or third time, maybe the third on, somewhere in there I'm going to get pissed. Yeah. um, but before I even get to the extremely pissed state, I'm going to have done something about it already. Something. I act. I don't talk about it. I don't sit on it. I act, because it's the only thing that's going to make a difference, right? Either for a person that needs to know that that's not okay, or that you're there to help. But I always start with the help first, because who knows what they're going through. I mean, think about it for a second. That person that did that for you, that was the think about this. That was the first thought on their mind, was to mess with you, to forward your number to a hotline, a suicide hotline. The, what's probably on their mind then?
That's true.
Suicide.
Yeah,
And
they're
what
not feeling good.
they're not
Yeah, they might
feeling
not be in
good,
the
dude.
best headspace.
I guarantee you they're not in a great headspace. And not only are they not in a great headspace, that was the first thing they assessed. It's kind of like if you were to come to me and say, hey, man, I got 3 important things to tell you. Usually, not always, but almost always, the number one thing you say, even if you say it's not the most important, the number one thing you say is the actual most important to you, because you said it first.
Hmm.
It's the same thing. Like if somebody's willing to mess with you by sending your number to a suicide hotline, that's probably they probably are, or on their way to having a self-realization moment of suicide. And we also know that because of COVID, suicides are at an all-time high. This
Yeah.
is not shit that this is not something you want to fuck around with. And so for me, mentally, I recognize that right away, and I go, man, are you okay? I'm
Hmm.
the kind of guy that would call that person back if I knew who it was. And I'd say, hey, are you okay? I might even laugh at the suicide hotline thing, and let him vent, and say, yeah, I get 12 fucking calls a day from guys like you. And it's like, well, guys like me, I don't know about that. He's gonna be like, what do you mean? You can be like, I'm a 34-year-old uh, American citizen living in the Philippines who just got done dealing with a monsoon. I don't know how many guys like me but and make a joke out of it. How does somebody not laugh at that, or at least crack a smile, or lighten up a little bit? Even if
Hmm.
even if, and so, but now we're back to the point of, okay, now you've clearly established in that same point that you're not out to ruin his fucking day. You are a genuine person. And not only are you a genuine person, you're someone who cared enough to call back. You care about your impact on the world. And you're also not like everybody else. You just said a lot, basically. And
Hmm.
then that person all of a sudden might turn around. I've had conversations like that where somebody was so pissed that they kept getting them phone calls, right? Until they all of a sudden realize, oh shit, this guy is not like any of the others. He doesn't sound like him, by the way. And he cared enough to call back and address the elephant in the room. And he was fucking cool about it after I spit in his face, basically. Digital form, spit in his face. He was cool with it. He didn't turn the other cheek, but he also didn't like put me 6 feet under, or fuck with me back, right? Like most people would, is probably what they're thinking, because that's the wounded animal in the corner shit they got going on, whatever's going on in their life. That's why I feel like it's always great to, and it's a learned thing. It's not uh, it's not always instinctive, especially if we're also hurting, right? If you're a wounded animal in the backed into a corner, you're probably not thinking about other wounded animals and backed into a corner. And if they lash out at you, you're probably likely to lash out right back at them, or take it poorly. Let's say, like, take it not well. Whereas I come from a place of love and gratitude. Seriously, I mean that. It's not just words I say. I take it as a not a personal mission, but I don't know, man. I my biggest gripe with our society, and I mean this for the entire world. My biggest gripe is that we can't get along. Just a very base, man. If we could do that, right, we could pretty much have everything we want. And so every action I take is towards that end, is to keep people from harm and point them in the right direction, help them out the best that I can, keep them from shysters and crooks and shit like that out there for sure. But for the most part, get along, even when other people are dead set and intent against getting along with me. That's why I say love me or hate me. Hear what I'm saying on the training, and you'll be fine. And that's all, because I know if you're able to benefit from my training, whether you hate the sound of my voice or not, right? Uh, it doesn't bother me a bit, because I know that if you hate the sound of my voice, it's probably because you've been listening to me for so damn long that you're actually doing what I'm teaching you. I'm okay with that because I know if you're doing what I'm teaching you, you're going to make some money. And then you're going to be able to do what you need to do for you and your family and for changing your part of the world, right? Your piece of the world. Um, for me, that's all I need. That's how I sleep at night, even with people that hate me, because I know at the end of the day that I'll always throw my hand out, right? In help first, um, before anything else. So, yeah, that's also probably why um, when it's time for me to act, I do, and I don't feel bad about it at all because I know I'm saving a lot of other people from the same kind of shit, even if it's long term. It's not something I want to see people have to deal with, right? So anyway, I'll leave you guys with that food for thought. I know we kind of went over. Um, oh shit, we lost. Was that Andy that was in here? I think we lost him. Oh
My
well.
bad.
Oh, it's okay. I saw him. I put him in the Zoom, and I was getting to him. I was getting to you, Andy. If you want to come back in, I got no problems with that. Uh, maybe you had some questions or something. I know you're working hard too, Andy. Anyway, maybe he had to go. I know it's late for him. Uh, maybe he just had to go to sleep. Anyway, uh, yeah, that's it. I think we'll leave on that. I'll leave it just for a second, see if Andy comes back in, and then we'll bounce out of here. Let me see if we have how many shares do we have? I don't think we have as many. Our attendance, our Show Up Grow Up award is shrinking by the minute here, folks. We had 19 start out. Looks like we have 11 shares here. Only 11 people. And they are Muhammad Zakir Hussein, John Hackwood. Uh, John, you shared the wrong one, but I'll still count it. Art, Christina. Oh, some are not showing because of privacy settings. I can't see some of the people. Well, that blows. 7 more. It's not showing me who shared. That's crazy. Some of y'all need to change your privacy settings. Oh wow. So attendance is not going to be able to be taken. Here's what we're going to do for attendance. Change your plans because some of you have privacy settings apparently on your sharing and what shows and what doesn't. Um, comment in the comment ABC123. Comment ABC123 in the Facebook group under this stream. So in the comment section of this stream in the Facebook group, ABC123, ABC123, and I will wait for that. I see a bunch of ABC123s. Oh shit! I'm sorry, I missed some of the comments. I apologize. Hold on a second. Um, cannot find the share button. Oh my bad. Can't share. Yeah, just the ABC123 is cool in the Facebook group. That'll be fine. We'll work with that for now. How do I get to the page for the daily sheet? Um, we're doing that now. ABC123. William sent you an email to support regarding show up. Show up, grow up, email address. Okay, appreciate that. Whoever that was that wrote that, I'm sure I don't have your email address. I might not have your email address. Um, you're a good dude, William. I appreciate all you do. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, it's just training and mentorship, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's your efforts. That's why I brag about guys like Art, right? And hopefully you, hopefully, fucking hate that word. Oh, I don't hate such a strong word too. I don't hate that word. I have such a strong dislike for the use of the word hopeful and hope and how it's used, including how I just said it, believe it or not. But the point is, I'm willing to catch myself on a live stream and say, nope, no good. No good. Can't say that. And not can't say that. Don't want to say that. I don't want to say hope. Um, you put in the, here's how I'll say it then. You put in the work like Art has done, like Andy's doing, Christina, you're going to see the results like they're seeing. And I'm going to get to brag about you. And I look forward to that. And I have faith that that will happen. A lot of ABC 123s. Remember, ABC 123 in the Facebook live stream, in the group, rather, the Facebook group live stream, the comments for that specific live stream, this specific live stream, rather. And I don't see Andy in here. Looks like we're good. I'm going to head back to the group and take attendance, and we'll bounce out of here, folks. Let's see. I got to head over to the group and do that real quick. So there's Muhammad. Let me actually move this over a bit. There we go. All right, so where's Muhammad? There he is. Steve Taylor. Scott Moody. John Smith. Apologies, I'm not trying to whisper. Jeff Brewer. Okay. Can't see the rest of the comments. Not your fault. It's Facebook doing that thing that it does, you know. Let me try and shift over to my personal profile, see if it'll show me all the comments. It's not going to show me the comments. So I'm going to have to wait until it goes. Going to have to wait until it goes to a, whatchamacallit, a video as opposed to just a live stream. But when it does, I'll see your comments and I'll take care of it. I'll take care of business. But I do have some of you already. So if you've already put your ABC 123 in, you're golden. Okay? And don't worry about the rest. Cool. No other questions? No other comments? Did I miss anything? I hope I didn't. I don't think I did, but I might have. If I did, let me know so that I can address it. Crap, I did it twice. Twice is fine. I'm not gonna count you twice, but I'll December 2nd, you're golden. Okay. You're golden. All right. I don't think I missed anything in the comments. Looks like we're good to go. Keep working, keep doing what you're doing. As things come up, if you have questions, concerns, challenges, things you need help with, numbers that you want me to look at tracking wise, maybe even a brief screen share on campaigns if we have the time. All right. For setup, for optimization, you name it. Right. That's what these calls are about. And I know that we went almost an hour and a half today, but again, trying to keep it closer to the hour side. That's on me. But I felt like these were some very important points to cover. And I understand the initial resistance to the idea because all of our lives we've heard that, we've been taught that progress not perfection, and that perfection is unattainable, and all these things that to me just no longer make sense and haven't for some time. I'm not saying you have to see it the way I do. I'm just saying I'm offering you an alternative to the shit that runs you into the ground as a type A. And you know what I'm talking about. There's good days and then there's really fucking bad days. And it's because of that type A, that double-edged sword. It's good and it's also bad, just like every other personality. There's a good side and a bad side to that coin or to that double-edged sword. however you want to look at that. And I'm telling you right now, you really are able to eliminate most of, not all of, but most of the shit that comes with the bad side of that type A personality when you come to the realization that I just laid out for you. So this is one of those things that I'll be talking about over and over again, not always this month on every session or anything. I will be bringing it up from time to time, sure, but over and over again from now till whenever, okay? Because it's that important. It really is. And what you can do with it. So take it to heart, sleep on it, mull it around, kick it around, think on it, right? Whatever you got to do, all the above. And I'm not saying you're going to see it the way I see it. I'm just saying a lot of things are going to start clicking for you, making sense. And you're going to see a lot more movement in the business because of it. And you're also going to feel better when you go to sleep at night because it's like, you had the progress, you had the whole thing. So it's going to be good. You'll see. I promise. Wouldn't lie to you. And certainly wouldn't start now. Tell you all this truth and then I'm going to lie to you about that? Yeah, right. Wouldn't dare dream of doing something like that. Anyway, I'll catch you folks tomorrow at 11 a.m. Appreciate you. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Christina, where you at, girl? I know you had some progress yesterday. Love to hear from you. Post in the group. Let us know what's going on. I've taken a personal interest because you've shown up. You've engaged, and so you can. You're no longer allowed to stay quiet. You have to share with me, please, because you've made some progress and you're on your way. I'm excited to see how you continue with that, and again, the journey that you take and that you ultimately take will reveal who I and many others on this call know exactly who you are deep down, and that's I've got a hunch that maybe you don't fully realize that yet, right? And you don't see what we see, or at least what I see, and I mean that. I see a lot of good things, a lot, and I can't wait till you start seeing some of it, of what I see. And I think a lot of that happens during the journey, the progress of becoming the agency owner and putting on that hat. So anyway, that said, love you guys. I'll catch you 11 a.m. tomorrow. Sorry this went an hour and a half, but I'm not sorry. It went an hour and a half. It needed to go the time it needed to go. Appreciate you. Love you. And I'll catch you tomorrow. All right. Go get them. Bye for now.
Cool. UFO. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch with the handle. Simple motors, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they down. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug. Bay Shore, Ocean View, I win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really no excuse. Welcome to the realm.